Hello there, gang. While I'm trying to arrest my voice a little bit, I thought I'd make a video that involved slightly less bombastic sort of delivery. So I figured this was a perfect time for me to take you through my Ben-Reilly Scarlet-Spider slash Sensational Spider-Man collection. So I'm going to do this in kind of comic book story chronological order, because that will give me a really good chance to mix up the different eras of action figures that I'm showing you. So as we know, Ben-Reilly first appeared in Marvel Comics as a doppelganger of Peter Parker. So of course, you've got to just have a classic costume Spider-Man figure here. And I really do think the best version of this costume is the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man that came out a couple of years ago. Just a great realization of the design, along with some nice articulation too. He's got the toe joints, which are always great. This is my favorite Marvel Legends Peter Parker, but it's not my favorite version of this costume. That actually goes to the Mafex, which maybe might have some recency bias. This is the most recent figure I bought, or at least one of the most recent figures I bought. But I love the fact that I was holding off on getting this for so long, because I was thinking, you know what? The Mafex are a bit more expensive, and, you know, is it really that much better? And the answer is, yeah, he actually is. I should have invested more money in a decent stand for him. But I love all of the carved, engraved webbing, the spider symbol on the back there, the great big 90s McFarlane, Mark Bagley style eyes, and just the incredible posability. You can have so much fun with this figure. Then this particular version has the light, bright sky blue. This is definitely my favorite go-to Spider-Man right now. So that covers Ben-Reilly in the Spider-Man costume. So let's go to the fun stuff now. Let's go to the Clone Saga specific Ben-Reilly characters. First of all, we've got this Scarlet-Spider from the Overpower card game line. Power Surge Invincibles, exclusive Fleer Overpower trading, well, not trading card, playing card. Overpower was, as you can imagine, a trading card game, much like Magic the Gathering, but with Marvel characters. It was never something I got into. My dyslexia and ADHD meant that there was no way I was ever going to be able to sit down and learn the rules for a game like that. But we did get a Scarlet-Spider action figure, and it's nice that he has these removable elements to him. So there's actually a bit more than just a single molded figure here. And you can see that there is very little detail. It's just the painted on hoodie there. But it's fun to see the bright, popping, bold 90s artwork on the back here as well. A full write-up for who the Scarlet-Spider is, along with a whole bunch of info pushing the Overpower trading card game. I think really this is what this line was for. It was less so making money from action figures and more so promoting the card game, which I guess is where they thought the big bucks lie. Now, because I'm a ridiculous completionist, it's not enough for Dave to have the figure in the box. Oh, no, no, no. We got to have the figure out of the box as well. So here we have the, well, yes, here we have the action figure. And yeah, he's as basic as he seems, but still kind of fun in a very nostalgic, from the vaults kind of way. I mean, hey, look, in the mid-90s, this was kind of as good as it got until Todd McFarlane came along and shook the industry up a little bit. They were real basic bare bones figures. But hey, you have to start somewhere, and let's face it, we're only going to improve from here. But as a bit of nostalgia, this guy's still kind of fun. He's sort of cute and a little bit of a time capsule of what things used to be like. So as much as we complain about current action figures, in many respects, we don't want to go back. I'll tell you that much. But we can jump way far forward, though, with the Marvel Legends Ben-Reilly. This is way more like it. This is the Pizza Spider-Man mold, and this is from, I can't remember which wave it was from. It might have been the Rhino wave, which was actually very highly sought after. This Ben-Reilly is fantastic. Considering what we started with to what Marvel Legends then gave us, it's beautiful. The amount of detail they've got on the belt here with all the extra web cartridges, the sculpted hoodie, even like the little tassels, separate pieces. One thing that never quite sat right with me with this figure, though, was the black around the eyes. It might just be a creative distinction to do that, but the Ben-Reilly mask just never had black outlines. It was just the white lenses on there. So being a bit of a Scarlet-Spider nerd, I would always look at this and think, it's good, but it's not quite right. But as I was saying before, it's not enough for Dave to have the action figure just out of the box. I've got to try and have him in the box as well. So I've got this, not exactly the same version. I've got the retro version, which did make some tweaks that made him much more appealing to my kind of choice in aesthetics. You see, they did exactly what I was asking for. They took the black line away from the lenses there, so it's just the white on red, which I think is way more accurate to classic Scarlet-Spider. And then also they gave him a kind of a metallic cherry red paint job, which I think looks really nice. I think that really makes him pop. I've got this figure out of the box as well, back home in England, and I think this is certainly the superior version of Ben-Reilly. Then also, of course, he comes with the blonde head as well, which, again, just being a Ben-Reilly nerd, he didn't dye his hair blonde until after he ditched this costume, but you know what? We'll allow it. we'll let it go. And you can see the rest of the figures in this line here. This was a really solid line. Great Hawkeye, Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp both came with miniature versions of each other, so that was really fun. And then a great Vision too. Marvel Legends, their retro packages, they really do harken back to the great nostalgia while giving us modern articulation. That's part of the line that I really love. They did an excellent, excellent job with that. And we're not done with Scarlet-Spiders yet. Just to have a little bit of fun, we got this guy, who I think came from a gachapon machine. So it's a little bobblehead Scarlet-Spider. Nothing to actually linger on too much, but I don't want to be a completionist, because that is the road to obsession and damnation. But if I do just happen to find a random little Scarlet-Spider that I haven't seen before, you better believe that I'll happily pick him up. But now, we go to one of my absolute favorite figures. Boom! This early Toy Biz Scarlet-Spider. Absolutely fantastic 10 out of 10 presentation here. Even though the figure itself is not great. I really don't like the aesthetics of this. The overall presentation is just phenomenal. I would love a whole new line like these. The most collector-friendly and also unfriendly packaging. Massively collector-friendly in that if you want to keep it in the box, it is sealed in this like airtight plastic binding here. You could not get into this with anything shy of bolt cutters. You really do have to rip this thing open. So this is like 30 years old, but it still feels brand new, fresh out of the warehouse. But if you do want to open up your figures, then yeah, there's no way you can do that without really trashing this. But the fact that you got this wonderfully articulated figure with the cloth hoodie, a great stand here as well, then the comic book in the back too, so much value for money here. So this was the first appearance of Ben-Reilly as the Scarlet-Spider. This is really, really great. And then on the back, you can see the other ones that they do. You've got a great battle-damaged McFarlane-style Peter Parker standing on top of the lizard there. You got the Rhino with a nice little diorama base. You got Daredevil in a church, and then Spider-Man again there with J. Jonah Jameson behind him. An absolutely phenomenal, gorgeous, beautiful set. I really love that. But as I was saying, the figure out of the box, because of course, I got the figure loose as well. This was a gift from a friend of the show. Thank you so much, man. I love that I have this, but also you can see the head is weirdly thin, I think. It looks like it's been stretched, like when you edit an image, but you pull it the wrong way and it just goes whoop. That's what that looks like. And then one of the greatest sins of a Spider-Man action figure, double web whipping hands. I hate that, because I want him to be looking to the side, but if he's looking to the side, then he's not really, where are you web whipping to? You can web whip one way, but then that's web whipping the other way. No, I don't like it. But I do like the fact that we got this cloth hoodie. This is great. You can pull the hood over the head. Not that he ever really wears it like that, but it's great fun to have that option there. So Toy Biz, it's early days. You know, we improved from here, but the fact that this character got so much love in such an early release, there's a lot to give them credit for, especially with the articulation. Got the toe joints here as well. They put in a lot of great work. Luckily, though, things would get even better. So I'm going to see if I can position this guy without too much trouble, because he's not easy to stand. I'm going to cheat a little bit and just rest him against the box there. Otherwise, we might be here all day. But then for another fun little anomaly, we've got a very modern Scarlet-Spider. You can see from the shading here on his bobblehead that this is from the Spider-Verse movie. And a lot of people, when Spider-Verse came out, a lot of people asked me like, oh, are you annoyed at how they portrayed Ben Reilly? They made him a joke, blah, blah, blah. Nah, I wasn't annoyed. I knew that, you know, a character like that is not going to get a great deal of screen time or anything. So the fact that he was in it, and that meant that we got merchandise, I was happy with that. You know, I'll take the representation. Because let's face it, even if you make a joke of the character, the real Ben Reilly fans, we know. So that was kind of cool there. And then we're going to jump way into the modern day, which we already were in, actually. So we're going to stay in the modern day with the gorgeous new Marvel Legends retro style Scarlet-Spider. Absolutely phenomenal. I need to buy another version of this so I can have one in the box and one out of the box. But they just did everything that I would have wanted for a Scarlet-Spider. It's the Renew Your Vows body. It's the separate sculpted hoodie, all the hands. I would have liked a different head with different lenses just to give you the option. But that's okay. I will allow, so gracious of me, I will allow the one that they've got, because it is a good design. I do like the eyes on this. But yeah, I just got to get another one so that we can have some, the character in the box and out of the box. But also on the back, it's a bit bare bones design-wise. It would have looked much better if they included, you know, the different characters in the wave, pictures of those. It would have felt more classically 90s retro. So they kind of missed a trick there, I feel. But that notwithstanding, it's still a really lovely Ben Reilly display piece right here. But we're not done with the Scarlet-Spider. We also have this little guy, a bear brick. Now, I had no idea what bear bricks were until I came to Japan, and it turns out that these things are massively popular. And if there is a franchise or a character that you are a fan of, chances are there's going to be a bear brick of them. So this is the Ben Reilly Scarlet-Spider bear brick, and some of these go for insane money, like absolutely crazy. Luckily, this was just a cheap little retail one, but you can get huge, big, like 4-foot bear bricks that are just gigantic and go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Pretty crazy, but hey, you know, to each their own. For me, I think this is a really fun little guy right here. And then we've got a bit of a controversial one. We have the Mafex Ben Reilly, who shouldn't be controversial, but it's only because he has, in my case, a broken and glued right leg, and it's not just me. Once I announced my heartbreak of this character having his leg snap off online, I got so many people sending me pictures of their Ben, which broke in the exact same place. And when I contacted Mafex, they were basically like, well, sucks to be you, pal. We can't do anything about that. And I'm like, oof, guys, that is not a good look. Luckily, though, this Ben Reilly does still have a great use because I've got the magnets on his hands and feet. So he actually sticks on my front door, and I use him as a key holder, which is a bit unusual, but actually I kind of love it. So even though he has the broken leg, dang it, what's killer is that there's so much about this I really love. The cloth hoodie, that's really, really nice. The slightly off-center spider, which is sort of a staple of the Ben Reilly design. I do love what they did here. Just a shame that he can't really stay together. That's the heartbreaker. And the final little scarlet spider piece is this cute little gachapon dude who is in a line with a whole bunch of other ones I managed to pick up, which have Doppelganger, Carnage, Peter Parker. You just get these from gachapon machines, which are, yeah, just little coin-operated machines. You find them in the street in Japan. You put your 500 yen in, turn the handle, and it's a bit of a mystery as to what you get. And amazingly, this was the first one that came out. I saw that he was one of the 6, and I thought, oh, well, let's try my luck. And boom, got this guy first time. First time's a charm. So I was a very, very happy boy when this came out. But now, it's time to upgrade. Oh, wait, before we do, though, while we're in the Clone Saga, I'll give a couple of fun honorable mentions. We got Spider-Side here. This was from a Clone Saga box set that came out with a whole bunch of Clone Saga characters that were all just repaints, but really fun. So I think this is a Venom repaint. So super, super basic. You can see the transfer sticker that was his mouth is kind of coming off there. But just the fact that there is a Scarlet Spider, no, not Scarlet Spider, sorry, a Spider-Side figure out there, that's kind of bonkers. It's kind of nuts. I love that it exists, even though it's not exactly a great action figure. Not as good as my Spider-Side custom, which is just absolutely stunningly beautiful and, oof, oh my goodness, still one of my favorite figures. And speaking of, this box set also had a Kane figure. I don't know what this is a repaint of. At least they gave him a new cape, which is quite nice. But that's really it. This is an odd-looking head. I mean, whose face was this? He looks very, very kind of upbeat for Kane, this tortured soul of a Spider-Man clone. One day, I hope that Marvel Legends will give us a classic 90s Kane. It seems unlikely, but you never know. One day, the Marvel Legends gods might smile upon us. Until that day, I'll keep asking. Right, let's move on up now to the sensational Spider-Man. When Peter Parker retired from being Spider-Man, Ben-Reilly took over, and he got a brand spanking new costume, which I genuinely still think is the best Spider-Man version of the classic costume. And so also this figure here, of course, it gotta come with a gimmick. So this is the new Spider-Man Venom containment gear, which is just a whole bunch of extra plastic stuff that you can stick onto him. And again, on the back, you can see how much fun some of these things are. One of them I think is really cool is the Hobgoblin Pumpkin Bomber, which of course is the giant version of the glider that he used in the cartoon a few times. Then you got a whole Spider-Man playset here. You got Spider-Man on a wheelie cycle, Venom Assault Racer, and then also from the sort of cartoon line, Web Blast action, Double Punch Tombstone, Man Spider. I'm a man spider. So then Carnage Unleashed and Octo Spidey. So a lot of love being given to the animated show here. Pop this dude right next to us over yonder. There we go. And now, of course, we can take a little look at Spider-Man out of the box as well. And he's just, again, a repaint of the Scarlet Spider that we got previously, but with the gauntlets here actually molded on. But that's it. Super bare bones, super basic. But hey, we're just kicking off the Ben-Reilly costumes, the Ben-Reilly Sensational Spider-Man costumes, and believe me, they get a whole lot better from here on out. All right, we're changing angles now and moving into the future with a much more modern Marvel Legend here. Basically taking everything that old Toy Biz one had and zhuzhing it up with a much more modern figure here. Unfortunately, this one still has the different colored pins, which can mix up the design a little bit. You got the red pins on the blue costume there. But nonetheless, it's still a very pretty package and presentation design here. And they got it right this time. They got the different figures on the back, which makes it feel just a lot more authentic to the 90s style. Funnily enough, this one came out before the Scarlet Spider, yet this one has the better design on the back. They kind of went backwards for some reason. Hasbro, they do like doing that sometimes. They'll innovate and do good things and then go, yeah, let's stop doing that. Let's go backwards. Don't know why. Don't know why you want to do that. When you're onto a good thing, just keep on going. But this body that they use, it's not the Renew Your Vows body. So it doesn't have quite as good articulation, doesn't have the toe joints, which is a little bit of a shame. And as I said, He's got the red pins. Oof. He's got the red pins on the blue, which is something the Renew Your Vows body doesn't have because he's pinless, nice and smooth. So it's a bit of a compromise. And also, he's got very small eyes. And this is a character straight from the 90s. So really, he needs to have big, wide 90s eyes. So it's not a perfect figure by any means. But all that means is that I can happily buy a new version of it whenever he's released. Because if anything, this video proves that you can't have too many Scarlet Spiders or Ben-Reillys or Sensational Spider-Men in your collection. Speaking of which, we got a little Sensational Spider-Man bear brick as well. So this was actually a 2-pack. So we got the Scarlet Spider bear brick and this little Sensational Spider-Man bear brick too. So really, when I saw them both in the box together, what is a man supposed to do but pick it up? There was really no choice in there. But while we're going for variants and variations outside of Marvel Legends, boom, it's the Mafex. And this, he's just so good. He really is. Everything that I love about the classic Spider-Man Mafex, we've got that here, but with my ideal version of the costume. I love the half boots. I thought that was a fun design. The same with the gloves, where the gloves have 2 blue fingers and then the others are with the Spider-Man red webbing. So some might say it's an arbitrary change just for the sake of change, but genuinely, I just think it's fun. I think it works really well for the design of the character. And you can see that Mafex just looks so dynamic in that pose there. Really, really great stuff. But speaking of great, we have the Marvel Legends Sensational Spider-Man, and this was my first proper modern Marvel Legend that I ever got. I was in a toy shop in Osaka with my girlfriend at the time, and I saw this, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's a Ben-Reilly Sensational Spider-Man figure? And she asked me, who's Ben-Reilly? So then, half an hour later, when I finished explaining everything to her, she was like, oh wow, okay, cool. Do you want me to buy him for you? I was like, oh, yes, please. And then the rest is history. So you see what's obviously so cool about this. You've got the Carnage head as well, so you can have the full Spider Carnage version as well, and we're going to get to more of that very, very soon. So I've got this unboxed back home as well, so now I can have him in the box and out of the box. Maybe one version as classic and the other as the Spider Carnage version. He's got the Absorbing Man arms in there as well. But this was a really good wave, actually, because you had a great Morbius. Jack-O-Lantern was terrific too. Fantastic Venom, Lady Beetle, Speed Demon. Really, really cool stuff here. So this was a great wave to get into. This was really when Hasbro Marvel Legends, modern Marvel Legends, they really started to come into their own and just set the standard that they would often meet and sometimes not meet, to our frustration. That's the thing. It can be a mixed bag sometimes from Marvel Legends, but that guy, oh my goodness, he was just terrific. So speaking, as we were, of Spider Carnage, oh my goodness, one of my earliest Marvel characters that I got in action figure form was this Ben-Reilly Spider Carnage. Now, this is a great figure and also a flawed figure. The biggest flaw really is the fact that he's so dark. They've gone for a kind of a translucent red, you can see here, but it doesn't really shine much. So then when they've gone for black on the rest of the body, you lose so much detail. And that's a real disappointment, because also there's no reason for this to be black. Even in the comics, when he is Spider Carnage, I think when John Romita drew him, this was in black. But when he first appeared with Mark Bagley doing the artwork, which is what this seems to be based off of, it was blue instead. So he was a much brighter, more interesting looking figure. So it's just a bit of a shame that he's so dark. And then with the 5 points of articulation, there's not much you can do as far as posing him. But he's still a really cool figure to have. But then when I found him in a thrift store in Japan, that's where I got him. I then got obsessed with trying to find him in box. And amazingly, I managed to find him online, but very frustratingly, I found him online from Mandarake in Japan, but they only would ship internationally. That's such a wonderfully Japanese thing, was that they're a Japanese store, but they won't ship to Japan. I was like, guys, I'm literally like a couple of hours away. Can you not put it in the post? Fortunately, we managed to find a workaround from a buddy of mine. But yes, he comes with this little extra grabby spider here that can grab hold of characters. That even has like fur on the back of the body. So much fun there. This is from the Venom Along Came a Spider line. That has some really cool figures. We got Phage here, which was a symbiote eating alien. And he had the rubbery tendrils and he had fur as well. There was a Bride of Venom. I'd love a modern version of Bride of Venom. This one was very kind of like pre-posed. You couldn't do much with her. Then, of course, Spider Carnage and this great Venom symbiote, which isn't really based off of any comic designs. It's just a cool, gnarly-looking monster Venom. But this, as a whole box together, really, really good fun. I'm going to park this guy at the back because he's kind of huge and we're running out of space here. That's all right. He'll be peering over the top there. And now it's time to bring it more into the modern day with the return of Ben Reilly as the Beyond Corporation Spider-Man. One of the biggest disappointments in my comic book reading career was the return of Ben Reilly, where it was just bringing him back for the sake of assassinating the character. But hey, at least we got the character in comics doing more stuff now. But also, I really thought the redesign of the costume was kind of pointless. They took what was cool and made it less interesting. They took away the external web shooters. They took away the half boots, the half gloves. They shifted his Spider-Man logo off to the side so it looked weird. And they couldn't decide if the black was blue or the blue was black. And Marvel Legends went for the slightly less interesting option and went for the black. So generally, a disappointing time for Ben Reilly fans. But you know what? I have to admit that I don't hate everything they've done. And also just this figure itself, because of course, I've got one in the box and one out of the box. It's on the Renew Your Vows body. So actually, it's a decent figure, even though I'm not a fan of this costume or what they did with the character. Because even in the story, they just made Ben Reilly an idiot. He was sponsored by this company, the Beyond Corporation, as their personal superhero. And the second this company appears on screen or on the comic book page, you're like, oh, well, these guys are clearly evil. Of course, the only person who didn't realize that they were evil was Ben Reilly. Because for whatever reason, well, just for convenience of story, that's the reason. For convenience of story, they wrote this guy as an absolute freaking idiot. I'm like, well, thanks, Marvel. But then, at the end of the story, he becomes Chasm. And I don't hate this, but I think that might be a little bit of Stockholm Syndrome coming through. So he becomes this ooky spooky limbo version of Spider-Man. And honestly, I do love the costume design. I think it's great. The blue and the green, the purple. It looks cool. I love the idea of a spooky Spider-Man. It's just a shame that it's Ben Reilly who is this spooky Spider-Man. But you know what? If it's either this or character limbo, I'll take ooky spooky Spider-Man. Because also, they did bring back his girlfriend as well. So this is great. So to have them together as a pair, we've got Chasm and Hallows' Eve here. And Hallows' Eve, this is actually a really, really good modern Marvel legend right here. She's got two different masks. And if you're not familiar with the character, she got her powers given to her by Madeline Pryor, which means they're kind of magical, kind of silly, but she can put on all these different Halloween masks. And whatever mask she wears gives her that character's powers. So if she puts on a vampire mask, then she has vampire powers, and a werewolf mask. You get the idea. So to be able to put these two characters together as a team, as a combo, I actually really like that. Because look, even if Ben Reilly is damned to be this Chasm character, at least he's found love again. And folks, that does it for my Ben Reilly display. You can hear my voice is going by the end of this, so I'm glad that we managed to get through it. I could finally show off this big old collection. I know that there are still several Ben Reilly figures missing, but dang it, I'm so happy to see all these guys together. And oh yeah, these guys. Oh my goodness, I am so angry at myself for forgetting. Can you hear that? I'm choking up my own rage. Oh my goodness, what great centerpieces these would have been for my huge big display that I have just taken down. Unbelievable. They were staring me in the face the whole time and I forgot to include them, along with the first appearance of Ben-Reilly comic book. Oh well, you can't train stupid. Never mind though. So yes, you got the two Hot Toys Spider-Men there as well, who would of course be the centerpiece of any self-respecting Ben-Reilly display. Oh well, next time. So guys, thank you so much for watching. A bit of an unusual video, but hey, sometimes it's fun to mix things up on this channel. So the question for you guys is, what character are you mildly obsessed with? I would call this a mild obsession. You know, it's okay. It's not too overwhelming. But gang, who is it that you would collect an entire display of just one character? Comment below, let me know. So thanks so much for bearing with me while I'm trying to recover from whatever this nonsense is. So hopefully we'll be back to the old videos before long. But until then, keep displaying model behavior. And now a quick shout out to this episode's sponsor, legendsverse.com. This is a brand new Marvel Legends curation website that honestly, I think it's got all the tools that every new Marvel Legends fan needs and every old Marvel Legends fan needs. But not just that, they also have sections for other action figure lines such as G.I. Joe, Mafex, and a whole bunch of other ones as well. Now there are a few different action figure cataloging sites out there. One thing that I really like about this one is that not only do they have comprehensive articles for each figure that's been released throughout the years, but also they've got different sections where you can make and curate your own teams. It helps you categorize and coordinate what figures you still need, which ones you're expecting, and which ones you've ordered for each different subline and group. Because there's also kind of a gallery section where you can post pictures of your displays and whatnot. It's a really fun setup. So I highly recommend, if you're collecting your Marvel Legends or any other lines and you want help curating your display and your collection, keeping track of everything, including your pre-orders as well, that's a nice thing. You got this different pre-order section where you can click a drop-down menu and select where you've pre-ordered it from, whether or not you've paid, when you're expecting it. For someone as scatterbrained as me, that's a real big bonus right there. So yeah, go and check out legendsverse.com. The link is going to be in the description below. And if you're just using the free service, then you get all that good stuff right there. And if you love what they're doing, then you can pay a little one-off fee and then you can get all the extra features as well. I'm very selective as to who I kind of do sponsorship things with, because I don't want to be putting the Model Behavior brand next to something that I'm not confident with. But after talking to the gentleman who runs this website, really good guy, dude, shout out to you, and actually playing around with what you do there, I thought, you know what? Yeah, this gets the boom seal of Model Behavior. So Legends collectors, go check this site out.
Big time coffee.